This is a special interview segment of Impact Yobe, where we speak to key players driving the policy implementation of Governor Mai Mala Boni's administration. And here we have the Honorable Commissioner for Education, Basic and Secondary Education, Dr. Mohammed Sani Idris. Welcome to the program, sir.
Yeah, welcome, my brother.
All right, sir. So, this, your ministry, is a new one, a new innovation in Yobe State. Before it was just the Ministry of Education, but now it has been unbundled to now entail Ministry of Higher Education and then that of Secondary and Basic Education. What is that specific mandate, the marching order given to your own ministry?
Thank you very much for finding it worthy to come to my office and discuss with me on how much the government is doing to revitalize education. And the question you're asking me is just one of the reasons why one have to come to terms with the fact that this government is more than serious about revitalization of education. His Excellency Governor Mai Mala Boni, you will also remember that on the day of his inauguration as the executive governor of Yobe State, declared state of emergency on basic and secondary education. And this suggests that this man is having uncommon passion for education, that the standard of education in Yobe State is something that is giving him sleepless night, is something that is itching deep down his heart, and that was what made him to make that very important and historic pronouncement of declaring state of emergency on this sector. Now, with the declaration of state of emergency on basic and secondary education, that we are expected to do things a little bit above normal. We are expected to imbibe in us additional glucose, to do things differently. We are under obligation to develop more ideas that will see to the fact that Yobe State is no longer seen at the bottom of the educational ladder as the case used to be. This is what actually informed his decision to split the ministry into two. A ministry that will be much concerned about the foundation, about the first level of the education. And that is why you get it right or you get it wrong. This is what informed his decision to have a ministry for basic and secondary education, for which I am now serving as the commissioner.
And since the establishment of this ministry and we focus on basic and secondary education, that's early stage, have you been getting results, and what are those results?
Now, actually, we are getting results, and so far so good. And most importantly is we have created an impression in the heart of Yobians that we are serious about the situation of education in Yobe State. We are facing these challenges with an iron heart, especially being blessed with a governor who is having passion for education. You will agree with me that if you want to better your standard, you have to come up with new strategies. Because when we continue to do the same thing, the same way, you will naturally expect the same result. And that was what informed the decision of His Excellency to inaugurate a 42-man technical committee to go around our schools across the 17 local government and access first-hand information about the true condition and the true state of education in Yobe State. And it is, I think, what they did with all vigor. They deserve our commendation. And then we have now charted new ways, which we are sure, if patiently and vigorously implemented, We will cease to be seen at the bottom of the education ladder. We will cease to be described as educationally disadvantaged state.
One other issue that affects Yobe State, including other states in northern Nigeria, is the situation of out-of-school children. And with the declaration of the state of emergency by His Excellency Governor Mai Malabuni, it is so that everyone can be captured and no one is left behind. But how has this impacted or improved a lot of out-of-school children? How have you been able to take them off the street?
You see, where people had it wrong was where education is not trying to address the need of the people. In Yobe State here, you know, it is a state that was overwhelmed, or is still being overwhelmed, alhamdulillah now better, with the mayhem of Boko Haram. Boko Haram has unleashed their terror on us, and that has actually taken us 20 years back. But then one will come to agree with the fact that in Yobe State, people want to have a dual curriculum, where parents will have the confidence that the government is actually not ignoring the Islamic education, which to them is very, very important and key. And probably that was the reason why they are taking their children to the Al-Majri school. Now this government is making effort to see the need to walk along the line to also make sure that the wants of our people is what the government is doing in this sector. So we are making all effort to start this dualization of curriculum. In the next 6 months, if we are alive and you have a chance to come, and we are inviting you to come and assess us and see, you will come to see students, pupils from our public schools speaking excellent Arabic and excellent English, reciting Quran, taking into cognizance the rule of the recitation. This without prejudice, of course, to the Western education. We give them sound training on how to read, how to write, and how to speak English, how to read, how to write, and how to speak Arabic, how to recite Quran, how to practice their 5 daily prayers in accordance with the injunctions and the teachings of Islam. That will create in them the type of confidence that will now make them see the need to bring their children to our public schools. And probably that is when we will begin to see massive enrollment. We are going on sensitization. We have done a lot of a campaign. I had a meeting last week with the Association of Proprietors of Islamia Schools. I also had a meeting with the scholars that are teaching pupils Quran in Makaranta Allo, and we had a lot of discussion. And for the mere fact that I'm equally a memorizer of the Holy Quran who speaks also excellent Arabic, they found it actually convincing that this time around the government is going to give them the type of education which they have been fantasizing to have for quite a long time. And believe you me, within the shortest possible time, you will begin to see the Yobe of our dreams. You will come to Yobe State and we will record 0 out of school children very soon. For 2 reasons. Number one, we are determined. We know how to do it. We know where to press. We know the need of our people. And we have a governor that is more than committed to making sure that education is given the type of attention it deserves. Education is provided for all. That's Governor Mai Malabuni for you.
Okay, you envisage a time when there will be 0 out of school children, when everyone will come to school. Another question is, Where will you keep them? Do you have the classrooms? Do you have the infrastructure to accommodate all of these children? What do you have on ground?
You are reminding me of what His Excellency told me about a week ago. That actually the issue is not all about having conducive atmosphere for learning, beautiful classrooms. Sardauna was not opportune to read in the type of classrooms some of our children are now schooling in. If you have committed teachers who have passion for their job, who have fear of God, learning will take place even if it is under the shade of tree. But even with this, you can see that our governor is working hard, is traveling day and night to source for additional funds. We are now partnering with a lot of NGOs. We have visited Turkish embassy. We are now in extensive discussions with them on how to come and help us salvage the unsavory situation of education in Yobe State. So it's not an issue of waiting for the government to give us grant. We are working round the clock to make sure that we get support from donor agencies, from well-to-do Nigerians, from people that are having education of Yobe State at heart. And the governor is also doing all that is possible within his ability to attract private investment in the education of Yobe State.
You talked about having committed and dedicated teachers, and you know teaching and learning is dynamic. How have you also ensured that your teachers also move with the trend, that they understand the modern techniques of teaching and impacting knowledge, and how in terms of training and development of the teachers?
Let me tell you that within this short period of his assumption of duties, we trained more than 7,000 teachers on the new pedagogy of teaching, on the new techniques of imparting knowledge into the cognitive domain of our children. We have also encouraged a lot the teachers to go on research. We are giving incentive of about 6,000 naira to the teachers. We have just concluded extension for the SS3 student, and the teachers were handsomely rewarded. You will be happy to hear that here in the ministry, we proposed 15,000 naira pay package for the teachers for the extension of 2 weeks. When I took the proposal to the governor, I said, double it. And it became 30,000 naira. I came back to the ministry. I wrote the new proposal again, submitted, and he said, go and write another one. Make it 35,000 naira. Our teachers deserve to be encouraged. There is no excuse for everyone now not to work. His Excellency has commanded me to lead by example. That is why I am coming to this office 7:30. This is the only ministry where the Honorable Commissioner and all the permanent secretaries report to office by 7:30 and close by 8:30 p.m. His Excellency asked me to go to all the secondary schools here in Yobe State and pass the night with the students in their hostel. I report to him the condition of the hostel while the students are sleeping. You will be happy to hear that when I went to one of the secondary schools, the governor was waiting for my report. At 2 a.m., he sent me a text message. I'm still waiting for the report, for your report. I still want to know how my children are sleeping in that school you are visiting today. This is the governor of Yobe State for you. Last week, I closed at 6:30, and he called me, where are you? I said, sir, I have just closed, I'm going to have my rest. Okay, proceed from where you are to Yusufari. Go and report to me the condition of GSS Yusufari tomorrow by 7:30. I will be expecting that report from you. And report to me with pictures and videos. And the governor was waiting for me. 7:30, I was in the school. I left here 6:30, and I reached Yusufari 11 or OPM. Not minding the risk, not minding the security situation. We are out for this job, and we are more than committed. We have the fear of God. We know that on the day of resurrection, we will be resurrected. I will give account on each and individual student schooling in our public school. And the governor, as the #1 person to be asked on the day of judgment, is mindful of his job. That is why when he appointed us, he told us that you are actually going to work above normal, then you have to make sure that you deliver. Short of that, you will have no place to work here. Go to Unguru, where I visited last week. And I had a very good session with the student, where the student will have face-to-face discussion with the commissioner. Very tough questions. I was asked very tough questions, and the governor said I should answer. Where we are wrong, we should be brave enough to say we are wrong, and we are going to make it better. We had, so one of the students was asking me, are you truly the Commissioner of Education? I said, yes. He said, can you swear that with Allah? Can you swear by God that you are the Commissioner of Education? I said, Allah, I'm the Commissioner of Education. He said, oh, okay, things are changing for better. Can you imagine now, the governor has made funds available for us to kickstart extra lesson for the for primary and junior secondary school students. And that in each school, in each local government, 10 schools are earmarked. And in each school, there will be 10 classes to be used. And in each class, there will only be 40 students across the 17 local governments. Wow. For them to receive the training they were denied prior to this time. And the governor is giving us, is mandating us to make sure that within a period of 6 months, between now and August, 22,000 Europeans should be able to read. From primary 1 to JSS3, should be able to write, should be able to effectively communicate in English, should be able to effectively communicate in Arabic, should be able to recite Quran as it is revealed. We are going to start that process very soon. When you talk of infrastructure, the governor has asked me to submit a proposal of total rehabilitation of 6 schools, 2 from each zone now. This is the first phase. And probably before the end of this year, it will be a very, very difficult task for you to see school in Yobe State that is not of international standard. If this tempo is sustained, and we have no excuse not to sustain it, because we are having a governor that is actually not sleeping, because the children of the masses are not trained. The governor has given me his mandate that in the next 1 year or 2 years, if parents still find reason to take their children to private school, then you are not qualified to remain as Commissioner of Education. This is how serious it is. So it's not only war we are waging against illiteracy. It is not war that we are waging against our name and our prestige that is put to dust. It's a war that we are waging against anything that will deny Europeans of having the type of education they deserve to have.
Another issue is the enrollment of the girl child into schools, both primary and secondary. What is the government doing to ensure that, yes, the girl child is also targeted, not left behind in this laudable development in the education sector?
Excellent question. Do you know that His Excellency has directed for the construction of girls hostel, across all the government girls secondary schools in Yobe State to attract more students. Very soon we are going to have Women Day Secondary School in almost all the local government to attract, to give second chance to those women that for one reason or the other could not meet up with their secondary education. Very soon we will begin to have those schools. So actually the governor is more than conscious about the need to educate women in Yobe State. And just give us 1 year or give us 6 months. Come back to Yobe State. And you will agree with me that all the hawkers you are seeing on the street now will become students of our various Women Day Secondary School in Yobe State. We will do everything humanly possible to attract them to come back to school. We will give them all sort of encouragement to bring them back to school. And we will also have a face-to-face meeting with their parents to sensitize them on the need to have their daughters educated. For now, there is massive construction of hostels across our government girls secondary school to attract more female students.
Yes, an enlightening time with the Honorable Commissioner for Education in Yobe State, Dr. Mohammed Sani Idris, giving us the progress report in this critical sector, which is the bedrock of any society, telling us all that His Excellency Governor Mai Mala Buni has put in place to ensure that everyone has access to education and quality education at that. Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner, for your time.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, TVC.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for watching. See you next time.